My name is Charlie McGrath. I'm the founder of WideAwakeNews.com and a host on the Rinse Radio Network, the one and only Rinse Radio Network. Hi, my name is Charlie McGrath, founder WideAwakeNews.com and a host on the one and only Jeff Rinse Radio Network. I'm finding myself reading articles from respected folks in the business community, respected folk in the financial community, who are a little bit pessimistic because the Federal Reserve has announced a minimal tapering of their quantitative easing. And in fact, we were told at the end of last year, end of 2013, that look how robust this recovery is, and look how strong we are going forward. Even with the announcement of a tapering of quantitative easing, we end the year on record highs on an indicator that means nothing to you. Nothing. Unless you're one of the uber elite set, which you might be listening to this. Lord knows the NSA is tapping into this to this broadcast and everything else that comes across this electronic airwaves in order so that they can find a crime later on. A little precog action from the NSA. We're supposed to believe that we ended the year strong because of the announcement of the end of quantitative easing. But let's look at the truth. A government delivered statistic of 74,000 jobs created in December absolutely missed the target by a mile. A paltry, matter of fact, we all know that that doesn't even keep up with the population growth, the should be expanding workforce. So we lost jobs in December. The housing market down 9.8%. The housing starts year over year, same time. Permits off 3% year over year. And fourth quarter new house sales year over year down 27%. Consumer sentiment 84 to 80.04, a huge drop in a short amount of time. All the indicators that led us into the crash of 2008 are still with us today, right? But they're just becoming more public at this point in time because they need to sell us on the notion that quantitative easing can't go away. You see, it is forget all this crap. Forget all this crap from these so-called experts that want to sit there and show you charts and show you technical data and tell you, that when this happens, A is going to happen and then B is going to follow suit, and we will go into a bull market or a bear market, and we will see prosperity or we won't see prosperity. And you're going to have Republicans come out and say that the government just gets out of the way. You're going to have the Democrats come out and say if we just free this money up from these corporations and turn it into tax revenue, everything's going to be okay. Look, it's all been a lie. And there is no metric that you can believe that indicates the health of where we're at now and where we're going. You need to use your own brain between your ears, and you can see that without the Federal Reserve, without these power brokers in Washington, D.C., telling the Federal, are going along being culpable with the Federal Reserve to buying billions and billions and billions of dollars worth of debt every single month, without that little event happening, this economy, recovery, whatever you would want to call it, is coming to a screeching halt. Now, that isn't me being a proponent of more quantitative easing. Quite to the contrary. I want this to crash. I want this to collapse. I want this indentured servitude to end, not just for me, but for everybody in this country and everybody on this planet, which is virtually everyone, who is have to pay kowtown to these bunch of globalist elite bankers. It doesn't matter what country you point to, what continent you point to, you have a banker technocratic set that is trying to position themselves into a place of ultimate power and authority, and they're doing it. They're doing it. They scare the hell out of the people of this world when indices go one way. They try to give them the most Orwellian speak imaginable when indicators start to rise, counterintuitive to everything you have ever known to be common sense. More debt, more spending, money we don't have equals prosperity. Orwellian in nature, the statement is alone. And you have all these business class, all this business media folks running around telling you that the only thing we can do is trust in the brilliance of Ben Bernanke, in the brilliance of the central banking cabal that has totally kidnapped freedom and put a gun to its head. There is no fixing debt with more debt. There is now and has not been any recovery since 2008. We are living on borrowed time, but we're not living in a way that is pointing towards some kind of happy ending for the people of this country, free people of this country and the world. We're heading towards a place that is quite dark, quite sinister, and quite clearly our future. It's a place where this debt, this terrorist weapon of debt, is going to be used, leveraged, and manipulated to make you believe that this is entirely the fault of the people of the world, and we need to beg these banker class, this technocratic class, to save us. But there is no salvation coming with these greedy parasites. There is only pain, there is only suffering. And we will be the ones who have to make the decision if we're going to let it push us through to that level of indentured servitude. We have an attack on freedom at every single level in this country and on this planet. If you don't believe me, I'm going to give you one example. Third grade class in Ohio teaching governance, teaching what government is and how it works, teaching what it takes to be a good citizen. And I quote, number one, citizens don't litter. They keep the environment clean. 2, citizens help schools. 3, citizens fix homes, whatever. I don't know how that's the third most important thing to be a citizen, but it made it on this Ohio list. 4, citizens vote on leaders. Throwing a vote in there, letting letting the little third graders know that they're part of the system, of which they are not. They are nothing more than fodder for this political system. Citizens pay taxes to the government. That's the number 5 thing, important thing. Why? Because it gives us all kinds of great things. No, because it's a tax that we get to pay in order so that the Federal Reserve can realize a profit every time we pay that tax. And number 6, this is the most important. This is the one that's going to get everybody in independent media booted off these airwaves and be under the scrutiny of fill in your alphabet agency, security industrial complex juggernaut. Number 6, a good citizen does not argue. This is right out of a third grade government class in Ohio. Ohio, right? The state that we always turn to during election time, poisoning the mind of their children with this kind of garbage. Look, we need to argue. We need to stand up for ourselves. We need to prepare for the inevitable. Because like I said before, these parasitic, technocratic banker elite are leading us to a very, very dark place. But ultimately, it will be the people of this world that either stand back and take it or stand up and take back their freedom. Articles are attached. That's all I got.